What was the first thing I told you that you need to do if you're using a graphing calculator of mine? What's the first? Yeah, we need to get in the habit of resetting the memory every time you use it, because you need to be able to get the window. You'll get errors sometimes from people leaving like their old problems in there. So just as a reminder about how you would do that, you go to second, you go to the plus, because that's what gets you to the memory above the plus sign. You are going to go to option 7, and you're going to hit enter, because it's option 7 is what we want to do to reset. Scroll down, because it's going to ask you again, are you sure you want to reset? You're going to hit yes, and it'll say something along the lines of done or RAM cleared or something like that. So you always, 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 if you're using my calculators that everybody else and their mom is using, you want to clear out that RAM pretty much every time. Get rid of however somebody else did their stuff. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do with it. I'm going to show you a little bit of a word problem hack, because you are going to have to graph a couple of word problems today. And real life numbers aren't the nice, easy numbers that we use when we're just doing like really basic, equations that we just make up to make them easy to graph. Real world problems are messy because the numbers are messy. So that makes it harder to graph them. So I'm going to show you how you can use your graphing calculator to make your life a little bit easier for that. Okay, so the situation involves apparently Joe and Josh each want to buy a new video game. And it looks like Joe currently has $14 and saves $10 a week, whereas Josh has $26 and saves $7 a week. So you can tell from the context of the situation, Josh starts out with more money because he starts out with $26, whereas Joe only has $14, but he's saving a smaller amount of money every week. So eventually, Joe's going to catch up with him, right? Problems like this are famous on the ACT. They love problems like this. Okay, they love them. So we need to know how to interpret this situation. So we're going to take the situation, we're going to turn it into two equations, which we are going to type and put into our graphing calculator. So Joe has $14, right? Plus, he is saving $10 every week. So we're going to use X to represent the number of weeks, because obviously every week that goes by, he saves more money. So your number of weeks is your independent variable, because the money goes up that he has. The money depends on how many weeks he saves. So the equation to represent Joe would be Y equals the $14 he started with plus $10 per week. So this would be the equation to represent Joe. This is old news to us. We should be knowing how to do these. That's why I'm going through this pretty quickly. For Josh, it's a similar equation. Y is still going to represent the amount of money he has. He started off, however, with $26, plus he's saving $7 per week. Now, you'll notice I didn't write it in exact slope-intercept form. You could have done it either way. Your calculator will accept this. If you want to do Y equals 10x plus 14, like switch the order, you can. But your calculator will take it like this. It doesn't matter. So you guys take a second. And I'm going to I have to unfreeze my screen from where I wrote, but I'll put those equations back up here for you in a different format. Okay, so your first equation that you're typing in is, of course, 26 plus 7x. And the other one is 14 plus 10x. So in your graphing calculator now, hit your Y equals exactly the way we showed you to type equations into your calculator yesterday. Those are the two equations that represent the money these guys are saving. Because what you're going to be expected to do with the couple of word problems is you're going to have to turn this into a graph. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can use your calculator to help make that process a little bit less painful. Okay, so we're going to do the 26, or Y equals 26 plus 7x. So everybody should be typing those equations in there right now. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. All right, so if I click graph, that graph isn't very helpful, is it? Everybody take a look. Whose graph doesn't look like this? Anybody's actually look better?
Yeah.
Doesn't, does it? This graph isn't very helpful right now.
What the world was
Why isn't this helpful right now? Did we make a mistake? Yes. We got any guesses? What did we do? Did we do something wrong? Yes, sir?
Going to increase the amount of increase in aggregation.
Exactly. We didn't make enough room in our window for us to see the whole graph. Okay, because right now when you reset your calculator, it automatically resets to what's called a standard window, where it's 10 up, 10 down, 10 left, 10 right. So clearly, since the money starts at like $14 and $26, we just don't have enough room to actually see the rest of the graph. You can tell what's happening here if you hit the word window. Let's do that. So you can see what those mean. So right now, your window is only going X minimum means the smallest X value is a negative 10. So it's only go from negative 10 to positive 10 along the X and the Y axis. So that's why you can't see the rest of the graph. And if you look here at scale, that's really important for you guys to know too. That is telling you that each little tick mark means 1. That'll be important later. So no wonder you can't see the graph right now because your window's not big enough. So here's how we fix that.
Zoom.
You go to Zoom. And you scroll. It depends on which model you have. Most of them, it's option 10 that says Zoom Fit.
It works.
And it automatically fits the graph so that you can see all of your data. So I think for all of you guys, it's option 10. So Zoom 10. Now, it's still not so easy to see, right? But you guys learned yesterday how to get your calculator to tell you what that intersection point is.
Oh my.
What do you do?
Trace.
That trace. So second, trace, because you're really going for that calc above the trace. Scroll down to intersect. Hit enter. Remember, it's asking you, is this the, hit yes, because this is the first line. I'll go back and do it again in a minute if you need me to. Hit yes. That's the second line I'm talking about. Take a guess. I'm pretty close to the intersection point. I'm scooting my way up. Hit enter. So my intersection point is 454. So what does that mean in terms of the situation? My x-intercept is week, or my x-axis, I'm sorry, is weeks. So that means at 4 weeks, they'll both have $54, okay? So when you have to decide how you're going to write your graph, you know that you're going to need to make an X and a Y axis that's big enough to at least include 4 weeks and to go up to $54. So this can help you to kind of figure out how big you should make your graph before you actually draw it. Because the calculator will do most of the work for you. You know that the whole point of graphing a system is to see where they intersect. So you know you're going to need to make your graph big enough at least to go to 4 weeks and to go up to $54. So that'll help you to kind of figure out how big you need to make it. So if you repeat that same process with the couple of word problems you're going to be doing today on paper, that'll help make that process a little bit less painful because you can figure out how much room you need. Okay?